Amica Insurance. We
It just happens every once in a while. You get used to it. I see a big square on your on. Also next to the square is like a weird box. Got him. Yeah. Well, that's the ultimate sin in D&D. Hmm. It became clear. You're the two boomers. You okay? You okay? Yeah. You know, there's a mixed bag with my son this morning. You know, went out and went to music class and went to the park and had good, but before we left the house, it was throwing stuff and like the worst is when it's not malicious. When he's just like having a good time and then just like accidentally knocks his cup of water over 3 times. You're like, I want to be more angry than I'm allowed to be right now. Oh, that's I'm jealous of everybody that they couldn't hear you. Also, there's some good cards in the new set for Magic that I want to get. I can hear you just fine.
There we go. Okay. Now I'm going through OBS.
Your sound quality just changed immensely.
Oh. So, okay. So then it was, you could hear me,
mic.
but it was going through a different microphone.
Wrong microphone.
Interesting. Weird. So yeah, we're here now and you all can hear me. Okay. Well, we're going to do our quick pre-show very quickly, but it's, what are you excited that's coming out in nerd culture in the over the summer? Like what's happening over the summer that you're excited for?
You know, we don't have Netflix. So I generally, if something coming out on Netflix, I'm like, well, maybe I'll watch it eventually. But we did have friends who come over the other day and were brought up the Witcher, or not Witcher, but the Sandman, the show that they really liked it.
Season 2 coming out, or
it's in the works.
Oh man,
I don't know. There's not a release date, but it's in the works. They've already revealed a lot of the new cast and stuff. and then I was like, yeah, the first season was fine, but I've read the comic series, and it's not anything different really. So, but then I remembered if they're just gonna follow the same pattern of, the first season had the first 2 volumes story wise. If the second season does 4, or yeah, 3 is just a series of one shot issues, and then volume 4 is maybe my favorite storyline in all of the Sandman, called Season of Mists. And if they're doing that, then yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it, because even if it's exactly the same, I'm still interested in seeing how they portray some of what goes on.
Some of the episodes were pretty good. They were fine.
Yeah.
They were fun, and some of the episodes were incredible and
Yes,
represented the graphic novel so well and brought it to life so beautifully. Like, yeah,
yes, that was The Sound of Her Wings.
Yes.
Was the mid-season episode that acted as a bridge between, Dream coming back after his imprisonment and getting revenge, basically, and then figuring out what to do next.
Right.
Because he kind of doesn't want to go back to who he was, which is kind of the whole point of the whole series, really.
Yeah.
And they brought that to life really, really well. And I'm hoping they can. Plus, if they do Season of Mist, Lucifer will be back, portrayed by Gwendolyn Christie, and they did that was a really great portrayal of the character. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that, right as of right now.
And weird fact, isn't that Lucifer technically the Lucifer in the TV show Lucifer?
Yeah, the whole idea is that in Season of Mist, the catalyst is really the end of, when they have that conceptual battle, which is great. They did that really well in the show too. But basically, Lucifer vows revenge, and their revenge is emptying out hell of all of its citizens, locking up and giving the key to Dream.
Right.
And saying it's yours to deal with now.
Yep.
And and there's a lot after that, and then Lucifer decides to just go, and then Lucifer runs a piano bar, basically, and that's, I think, the general concept of the TV show. But it's also a crime procedural, because that's what every show has
it's
to
gotta
be.
Yeah.
Those are always popular. If they tried to do the Lucifer, Mike Carey Vertigo comic series, it would have lasted 1 season and everybody would have hated it, because it's weird and gross and disgusting. And it's also pretty good, but anyway, yes, that's technically the same character, but not in any way the same.
I just think it's funny that when you think about it, this Netflix TV show is gonna lead into a WB show.
When you think about that character in Sandman becoming, handsome guy in
crime procedural
Lucifer, you're like, what happened? What is going on here?
I don't understand. What
happened that this is now who you are?
For me, in fact, what we were talking about before with the digital dice being terrible, finally, it should be coming this summer. Should be, fingers crossed, should be coming this summer. My Bluetooth dice, a full set of Bluetooth dice.
That's such a funny concept to me.
It's that I kickstarted years ago. I think back in like 2018, 2017 maybe. But COVID, like the pandemic, basically slowed everything down, because a really important thing in these were microchips, and that got on this massive shortage. And independently developed Bluetooth dice was not the top priority for microchips.
It got pushed back a little more than medicine.
Right. So, but the whole thing here is, hello there. Hey, welcome, M2K8NN37. You sound like a droid.
Nope,
I'm guessing that's a name of some sort. I'm trying to deduce it. I can't. Welcome though. Hey, glad you're here with us. Hello. But the basic concept of the dice is, number one, they're LED based, and then number two, so there are lights inside of it. But you can buy LED. Call you whatever. M2K it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, there it is. You're M2K now. I love it. But you can buy LED dice right now. They light up. They're great. Whatever. We sell them in our store. but uh but these ones interact Bluetooth, so you can connect them to your phone in an app, and then you can like set the lights to shine however you want. So like if you're fighting something and you recognize that like if you roll an 8, you hit. Then you just when you roll an 8 or above, everything turns green. If you roll a 7 or below, everything turns red. Or nat 20 causes everything to sparkle, nat 1 causes everything to go dark, whatever you want to do. But on top of this, it is open source, and so Foundry Tabletop, I think Roll20 already has it, but there are like different virtual tabletops, VTTs, that have integrations for these Bluetooth dice. And so now I can connect them to my computer, and with these integrations, I can roll these physical dice, but the numbers will pop up in the Foundry VTT as if I roll digital dice, and it'll like give me add all the bonuses and whatever else, and all the other cool things will happen. So it's super cool.
Yeah, that all sounds whatever, but all I could think of is now I want to do like a cyberpunk campaign or something like that, and create a cool, cyber hacker, and my name would be LED.
LED. Yeah, got it.
You can call me Ellie. And then you only learn like later on that her last name starts with D, or is DEE or something like that.
like Homer J. Simpson.
Yeah, or it'd be like a 30 Rock joke.
Yeah.
People have weird names, but you don't learn that until 3 seasons later.
All right. Hey, should we do a podcast?
Yeah, we could try it out.
Well, hey, everybody, we're going to start a podcast here in just a second because we actually syndicate these afterward on YouTube Music, like on the podcast part of YouTube and Google or whatever. We don't actually interact with the chat while we are podcasting, but we encourage you to keep posting things, keep chatting with us as if we would respond, because afterward, when we're done podcasting, we come back and we go through the chat and we, respond and we converse and we keep the conversation going. There's a pre-show and a post-show. We're in the pre-show now. We're about to do the show. We don't interact with the chat during the show. And then after the show, we do the show then. So, stick around. Today we're talking about the Inside Gaming survey done by Fandom, in which overall the article we're looking at is talking about how, in general, people feel like they can be themselves in game more than they can be themselves.
Yeah, it's a survey looking at why people game, what the purpose of it, what is the benefit to gaming, things like that.
So we're going to be talking about that, our reactions to it, and just kind of what we think about that. With that being said, Fox, are you ready to podcast? All right, yes. I can do the pre-show this time.
Okay.
All right, let me start recording here. All right, in 3, 2. Today on the Nerdy Gritty, the Inside Gaming survey brought to you by Fandom 2024.
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. World that makes a man instead. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I like to express myself by saying my name, and that is Fox.
In game, I am Dez. Out of game, I'm Steve.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, legitimately, yes.
Hey, you know what's happening? Basically, starting today, as of, if you're not listening live, as of recording this, not E3.
Woo! Not E3 is starting. Yay!
Not E3, and that actually means something more than it has the last couple of years, where E3 was temporarily postponed. They basically last year said, "Hey, we're done.
Yeah,
E3 is
happening.
over now.
We admit it.
We're not trying to joke around about
White
it or
flag.
Yeah, we submit to Lord Keeley, the Jeff who has destroyed us. Summer Game Fest.
The Jeff is good. Like just the Jeff. Yeah.
The Geoff. So Summer Game Fest is basically the de facto replacement for it. I'm not sure exactly how much of it is technically connected, and there's some official Summer Game Fest stuff, and then there's other press conferences and like presentations and videos that get put up that are just are around the same time.
Companies will know that Summer Game Fest is happening right now, so this is when we're gonna release our announcement.
Yeah, if you're not officially like sponsored by it, you can also just basically ape off the press of it and say, hey, it's going to be on this day, and it's when everybody else is already watching stuff. So anyway, what's hot right now is predicting what's going to be revealed. Everybody wants to know what the big new games, what the new stuff is going to be shown off in these their press packages is really what it is. It's just trailers for stuff that you might buy eventually. They're trying to get you to want to buy it. But what are they going to reveal? We want to know. Everybody wants to know. So Des, what do you think? What do you think the big hot new product is going to be?
I mean, it's obvious now, right? Like we've already talked about it.
You're right. It's so obvious we don't even need to talk about it.
Right. That's it. Let's move on. No, it's obviously E3 Simulator 2024. Here's what's going to happen, right? You are now running E3.
Oh, you're the Jeff.
You're the... Well, did he do E3? That wasn't his thing, was it?
Okay. I guess... I guess you could be...
Right.
Sure.
You are Jeffrey E3. We'll just say that. You are the Jeff, but a different Jeff.
Jeff 3.
Yeah. Spelled EITHRE, E3. And your whole goal is to create a big video gaming thing. But here's the thing. You can't win. No matter what you do. It's all falling apart around you. Like the whole idea is it's literally 2024. And every time you like contact somebody, they're like, why? I'm just going to stream it for free. Why would I pay you $1 million when I can stream it for free tomorrow? And that's going to be it. That's the whole game.
We're actually going to get into something like that in our news stuff, but I'd play that. As long as I didn't know I was just going to fail. I love the idea of like putting together a big event for gamers with a Z.
I'll say this. I played a wine sim game that I really enjoyed and played a whole lot of. And I used to play a baseball stadium sim game. Like you're running the baseball stadium and it's not about the games themselves. It's more about the concession stands and the prizes.
A paperwork simulator.
And it was cool. I really enjoyed it, man. So
sure, fair enough. No, I platinumed pressure washer simulator.
There you go. Exactly.
Power washer simulator. I love me a sim. Any sim can be good if it's engaging, even if you don't care about what the actual thing is. And let's do big game conference simulator 2024.
Remember when we did Euro Truck Simulator?
Yeah,
that was so fun. We should do something we got to do a stream like that again sometime. Yeah, that was real good.
Anything can be fun if it's like actually fun. There's a space trucker simulator coming out relatively soon.
Hey, it needs to be genuinely accurate to space trucking. I want to be clear.
Well, I want like, you go into hyperspace or whatever, but you still got to it takes like a super long time. And
anyway. You got to get your 5-hour energy sludge.
Do you go into stasis? Got to deliver these space genes. Got to go into stasis.
5-year energy stasis is what it's called.
5-year energy stasis. It's sponsored though, of course.
Right,
it's
of course. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds great. You could do a lot of funny jokes like that and also make it a really fun.
Right, and it absolutely works.
I think that'd be great.
All right, Fox, what do you think? What's coming?
You know what we need now? You know what Battle Pass is the general name for like a kind of a subscription service to even single player games these days. Where you get, you accomplish something in game and you get a bonus and whatever. Those have been around for a while now. They're pretty standard for a lot of games. What we need now is one level deeper. I think what they're going to announce, and I think it's going to be Xbox, the Battle Pass. You buy our Battle Pass, and then stage 1 is you complete this week's, this month or whatever, this month's Fortnite Battle Pass, and you get a bonus. You get extra Microsoft in console currency to spend on other Battle Passes.
I hate that this would work. I hate that people would do. I would not do this. I want to be clear. People would you would make so much money. You would be swimming in money.
really what it is, it's weaponizing like achievements and
Yes.
and trophies. And honestly,
You monster.
I would be a little at risk if there was some kind of like trophy monetization thing. I might like I probably wouldn't, but I'm not gonna say it's 0% chance that I wouldn't get in on that. But that I think is what they're gonna do. I mean, it really just like it is a joke I'm making, but also is it?
Right.
Is it though?
If
I mean,
I could absolutely see like Epic releasing the Battle Pass, which is this is a higher tier Battle Pass that is essentially the Battle Pass for all of our games.
sure.
You're paying 3 times the average amount, but it works
Or
for
it's-
all of our games or whatever. Like, and it's yes, there's so many things.
Yeah,
you can do with
or a
that.
Microsoft Game Pass Battle Pass.
Yes.
I'm gonna pass on the Game Pass Battle Pass. But yeah, it's like all their first party stuff, all
Yeah.
the stuff they actually own to get you. You know, those are what you get the bonuses on. There's a little bit of that on PlayStation, but you don't have to pay for any of it. It's just like you played this game, you get a cool in-game avatar, or PlayStation avatar or whatever. That's what's gonna come out next, and it will be. Everybody will grumble. There will be 1,000 articles about how it's the death of everything, and it will be pretty successful and
Yeah.
keep going, and eventually we'll just get used to it.
I hate that we have been joking, but that one is that could, if that happened,
That
I'd be
one
like,
could be real.
yeah, that makes sense. Like,
Do you remember how the whole like problem with DLC started with horse armor, and now skins are just like standard, and people only complain if there's some number that they don't think should be charged for a skin, but really
And-
there's no, it's just arbitrary.
this is what was ironic about horse armor compared to today is that
Mhm.
the reason horse armor was such a big deal was
This
because
is for Oblivion.
it was purely cosmetic and
Yeah.
entirely useless.
Yeah,
Today, that's what people want DLC to be, because if DLC actually gives you an edge in game, it's unfair.
that's a
You know
good
what I mean?
point.
And
We've
so-
gone 180 degrees on this.
Yeah, I
That's
get
funny.
that one. Horse armor was a single player game, and
It was
therefore-
Oblivion, so
Yeah,
it would,
but
yeah,
still, there's an irony to that we want DLC to be non-competitive now.
right.
But, okay, so there was a state of play recently. I missed it. I need to go back and watch it. But
I just saw your summary.
But what they didn't announce, what we know is coming later, of course, is a franchise that hasn't been spoken about for a while, and that is Sony's God of War, right? We all know God of War.
Sure.
It's a wonderful story. Well, what has to be coming soon here needs to be God of the Bride. And it's God of War, but Atreus and the girl, the giantess girl, are getting married.
Yeah.
and-
Dang it. What's her name?
Yeah, her.
Get her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kratos now needs to like plan a wedding. It's him planning a wedding.
Oh, so
And-
this is Father of the Bride, but with
Yes.
Kratos.
Yep.
As
yep,
the joke
that's it.
you're
Yes,
making?
that's the joke I'm making.
I'm
God
really
of the
glad I
Bride.
watched Father of the Bride last year, because now this is very funny to me.
And so the whole idea is this is him planning a wedding, but the twist comes in halfway through where he's not just planning his son's wedding, he's planning his wedding to Freya.
To Freya?
Dual
Oh,
wedding, and
double
it's all
wedding.
happening right there, and it's a deep love story full of tears and joy.
Oh,
and
that-
and I
that
would
would
play
be
the
the-
crap out of it. I would play the crap out of that game.
yeah, honestly, well, really, at the end of the day, like, her name is Angerboda.
Angry Bird.
Uh,
How could we not remember that name?
really, at the end of the day, like, we joke about this, but they have shown an incredible capacity for taking to inject so much like real emotion into those games that we would laugh about the absurdity of it, but then yes, it would be a genuinely moving like.
Oh, I played God of War 2 and I cried, and then I watched one of my favorite YouTubers play God of War and I
Yeah.
cried again. Like
There is what that scene at the end of the
Oh.
DLC, the end of the DLC, that scene where he has that conversation with his past self is such maybe one of the best moments in any game I've ever played.
man,
Anyway, I would love that, but I just love picturing instead of Steve Martin doing a wacky like, oh, this is so expensive, I'm done, blah, 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 it's him like, ah! And, like throwing a mountain at the sun or something like that, like going into just eternal rage mode. He doesn't hurt anybody.
Right.
He's past that, but he gets so angry and then signs a check because his son comes to him and emotionally connects with him.
The flowers are the wrong color, and he's just goes in the...
This is ridiculous. Oh man, you know what we need is more. Okay, here's what I think is going to be announced next.
Got it.
We need Death Stranding 4.
No.
Death Stranding 4. At this point, stick with me. Hideo Kojima has nobody saying no. No, that was I think the major problem with Death Stranding is that nobody is saying no to Hideo Kojima. It's George Lucas and the prequels. Nobody has the ability or the courage to say no, and so just lots of stuff gets thrown in there, and it doesn't come out as great as it probably could have. Just lean into that, Hideo. Death Stranding, just move into 4, and it's like, why are you going to 2? That's so boring.
Yeah, coward.
I don't want a direct sequel. I want it to be the opposite, where you play, where here's the problem with trying to predict this is Hideo Kojima is inherently unpredictable. So what I have to predict is what I wouldn't predict, and that's physically impossible.
Right.
How do you predict something that's more ridiculous than Monster Energy and poop grenades? Like
blatant Monster Energy.
Right. Look, I've got Monster Energy here, and then I'm gonna pee, and a mushroom is gonna grow, and then I'm gonna deliver a box of toys to Conan O'Brien wearing a panda hat. That is a literal thing. That's a literal thing in Death Stranding. And then also my mom/daughter is death itself, and also is the president of the United States.
Right.
And then there's a guy named John McClane, but he goes by Die Hard Man.
Yes.
It's just like, how do you predict this? That Death Stranding 2 was revealed last year, and I'm weirdly excited about it, but even though I'm dreading it at the same time,
I am excited about laughing about it the way that we're laughing about this right now. Like, that's the only excitement I have for Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, I mean, George Miller is going to show up, the director of Mad Max. He's in it already. We've seen Higgs, the main villain from the first one. He's got a cool guitar now, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why that's his new weapon, but
this cool. is how he becomes the doof, is what it is. Yeah.
If this is all Mad Max prequel stuff, I'm down. Now this is getting good.
See,
yes, I want Higgs to be the doof. The doof warrior.
If Kojima announced that he was coming out with Death Stranding 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that his point was, I released 1, then 5, then 3, then 2, then 4. I would be like, yeah, that sounds about right for Kojima. That sounds like something he would do.
Ultimately, the problem is, like, then they would, after the last one comes out and they all connect in really cool ways, I'd be like, okay, that was kind of a cool idea, just executed very poorly. Which is what Death Stranding was. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, just not very well done.
Very poor. There's also a lot of stupid stuff in here, also executed very poorly.
Yes. Well, no. What it would be is, here's Death Stranding 4. It's gonna reference 2 and 3 though. You'll never know what they're referencing it, and really it's just going to be a huge experiment to see how many people on the internet are willing to defend it as brilliant, a genius, and not this is the worst thing ever. I'm excited for that. So looking for Death Stranding 4 probably coming out later this year, actually.
Well, everybody, all of these things are absolutely true. Every single one of these is real, and
my uncle works at Nintendo. He told me about all these.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for all of them. Fox, what's going on in the news, my friend?
Well, we're going to continue talking about Summer Game Fest a little bit, because there have been some numbers that have been revealed about how much it costs to be a part of the Summer Game Fest.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready for these numbers? Apparently, there was a article that came out from Esquire that came out today. If you okay, let's make a little game out of it. You are a game developer. Let's say you're just a mid-sized game developer. Not a small indie startup, not a massive, AAA, whatever. Mid-size. Team Ninja, I don't know, something like that. You want to show a 1-minute trailer.
Oh no. Oh boy, here we go.
How much do you think you're going to be charged? 1-minute trailer in what is effectively a marketing package. I mean, there's a physical, event that also happens, but 1-minute trailer to be included.
The tough part with all like this type of thing is, of course, I want to make the numbers super duper high, but I have no context. So,
yeah.
$200,000.
You're close.
Am I really? Holy crap!
$250,000.
Holy crap! How?
You were still 25%.
Who has that kind of money to throw at it?
For a 1-minute trailer, you will be spending $250,000.
You have to consider cost efficiency. Do you really think that if you get your video shown at Summer Game Fest, that you will make $250,000 plus more?
Yeah, this is marketing added onto your development costs.
Right, more than you would have without Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot think of the. So here's my honest thought of that. I can't think of a company that would benefit that much from it that would also be able to afford that amount. If you're Ninja Theory, you are a mid-sized company, you could probably afford that $250K, but also everybody knows Ninja Theory, and you could just announce it on your own YouTube
just
channel.
Just release your trailer.
Yeah, and it's going to be just fine. Maybe you're that, kind of indie, nobody really knows about you at all place. Yeah, you would really, really benefit from this. But you can't afford $250,000. Who is this for?
It's rolling some real hard dice on this one. Okay. What about a minute and a half? 1 minute, 30 seconds.
I mean, logically, I would say about 475.
No, you get a bit of a discount. You're only paying $350,000.
Wow, what a deal! What a deal!
If we just did if it was just purely mathematical, for $250,000 for 1 minute, if you're adding on 50%, it would be $375,000. You get $25,000 off if you do a 1.5, and then for a 2 minute, it's $450. For 2.5 minutes, it's $550,000.
What if I do 8 seconds? Can I?
That's what like the Elder Scrolls 6 was.
Right, exactly.
How much did that cost? There's some more numbers here. Apparently there's an update to this article. It is important to mention, some free slots, quote unquote, are provided to smaller non-AAA games and studios. Because there's also something called earned editorial placements, which are played for free. Earned editorial placements, which are likely reserved for big reveals from massive companies. Part of what other smaller developers are paying for is likely the chance to be showcased alongside the bigger games. So essentially, there's this, based on my interpretation of what this is saying, is Jeff Keighley is also benefiting from this. So he will give a slot to a huge company for free if that's what's going to draw the eyeballs, right, on the assumption that the smaller companies will then pay for the chance to be alongside those giant ones.
That sucks, but it makes sense. But also,
it's purely marketing. It's all marketing calculation. At the end of the day, I understand that there's probably benefit to it, but companies are choosing to be a part of this or not.
Well, and also Summer Game Fest is marketing.
That's what it is.
It is.
That's what E3 is. That's really what the Game Awards are.
So it's going to be treated like a marketing platform.
It is a marketing event that has been hyped into, like, it's almost what Comic-Con is now. Like San Diego Comic-Con, where it's just we're not getting anything as an audience. We're getting a preview of a product we can purchase. But it's so hyped and it's so much fun to see. Like sometimes it's fun to see what's that next product we're gonna buy, that it's even the marketing itself feels like we're getting something. We're not though. Anyway, there is also one other big number here. Let's see, because Summer Game Fest also has a physical like event for 3 days, a private meeting cabana. Oh wait, hold on. Let's private
In
meeting
the
cabana,
private meeting cabana.
which includes seats for up to 6 people, table service, free parking.
Ooh, you sold me
And-
now.
Yeah, that's in this economy, and 6 Summer Game Fest badges. How much do you think that will cost for all 3 days?
Woof.
This is like a meeting for like a company to like preview their demo or something for other journalists and stuff.
And so
It's
this,
not just
you
like
are
a-
also showing your video to other people. Like, so this is for people to come. You are not sitting in the chairs. You are bringing other people to sit in the chairs for you to show
This
them
is a
stuff.
private meeting cabana. It's an opportunity for somebody to hold meetings in this cabana.
Got it.
You bring your game
saying-
demo and show it to people.
I'm saying
It
that's
holds up to 6.
an extra $100K on top of whatever else you're doing.
Oh, so it's by your standards, it's a steal at only $50,000 for 3 days.
Wow.
What you seem to want to go for is the full hands-on pod, which includes 4 large HD TVs, seating, credenzas with locked storage, signage, 6 SGF badges, and free parking. Also, got to include the
get
free parking every
God,
time.
man. If it wasn't there,
Uh,
what if some people would be like, forget it, I'm done. No.
How dare you make me pay $8 to park here? This is ridiculous. Oh, where's the number? How much does this cost? Oh, come on. Let me go to the other. I got to see this big number for this one. I'm sure it's ridiculous. Oh, almost there. The cost for the full on. Oh, yep. Full hands-on pod, which basically just includes actual screens that you don't have to bring yourself, as well as a few other things. You can also customize it apparently in some ways. $150,000 for 3 days to show off your demo for journalists, basically. Anyway, it's expensive. Keep that in mind when watching it.
Well, hey, I have better news than that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Italian teenager, this is a CBS News article. Italian teenager Carlo Acutis to become first millennial Catholic saint after second miracle attributed to him.
This. It's so good.
This is like, it's hilarious, but also genuinely wonderful. Like, I love this so much. So, I'm just reading you the first sentence of this. Ready? An Italian teenager who was informally known as, quote, God's influencer for using his computer skills to spread the Catholic faith is set to become the first saints of the millennial generation, the Vatican announced on Thursday.
Man.
This is like,
sounds like such an Onion article for sure.
it really does, but like, genuinely and truly, I feel like this puts the Catholic Church ahead of the Protestant Church in this area. Like, how many Protestant churches are out there being like, yes, this is our online influencer, this is our YouTuber, this is our whatever. And here's the Catholic Church like, hey, this guy's going to be a saint. Now, I will say that the miracles that are attributed to him are healings. They're not computer miracles.
They're
or
not
anything like
computer
that.
related healing. Yes.
Yeah, so
which is sad.
he has he has somebody come fix my OBS. I'll make sure that the Catholic
My
Church
miracle.
attributes a miracle.
He
to
turned
you.
it off and turned it on again without pushing the button. It's
What?
a miracle.
I am the IT guy, like informal IT guy for our stores, and it has been more than once that I've been like, "Hey, this isn't working," and I'll walk over and just like open the program, and be like, "It's working fine."
Yes,
What'd
it
you
is.
do? I opened it. So, but he, the Pope attributed a couple of healings to him with 2 miracles, and unfortunately he passed from leukemia, I believe. It's right. Hang on, I lost it in the article here. Yeah, passed from leukemia in 2006 at the age of 15. Unfortunately, taken well before his time, but still 2 miracles. Loved Jesus a whole bunch. Set up to become the first millennial saint. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm into that.
It's something. That's what it is. I mean, if we disregard, thoughts on theology regarding
Right.
sainthood, then sure. It also does smack of me as a like PR move of, hey, we're cool and hip. We're the Catholic Church. Look at us. Ignore the other problems that we're doing not so much to address right now. We got a cool millennial saint.
It's true. Okay, yeah, never mind. I had a moment like, wait, millennial? It said millennial, but he was 15, which meant, but I remember he was 15 in 2006. It's long.
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
Okay.
Canonization takes a little while.
Yeah. So anyway, again, overall, I think it's cool that the Catholic Church is getting behind online influencers and whatnot. That is not something
Sure.
that the Protestant Church has done to a large extent. You got a few, like the Methodist Church has Checkpoint Church, which is really cool. But like official denominational churches, Checkpoint's the only one that I know that has a designated online influencer for them and
Sure.
whatnot. So anyway, yeah, that's what we got. Hey, are you ready down in the nerdy gritty?
I think so.
Before we do that, though, take a moment and check this out. Hey, y'all, before we get into our main topic today, I need to let you know that the Nerdy Gritty is brought to you by SavePoint Ministries. We're an organization that wants you to know that you are deeply loved and valued by Jesus. But we also believe that a physical, real-world community is something that's vital for all people. So we combine these two ideas, and we find what's called nerd-friendly churches for people who are looking for one. This is a place where you can learn about the love and salvation of Jesus, but you can also talk to somebody about your D&D character or what games you've been playing or whatever else. So if you're somebody who's interested in finding a nerd-friendly church, or maybe you are a pastor or a volunteer at a nerd-friendly church and you want to be featured, well then go over to our website, savepointministries.com, and we'd love to help you from there. Okay, let's actually get down to the nerdy gritty. All right, we're back, ready to get down to the nerdy gritty here.
Let's do it.
So recently, fandom.com did a survey called the Inside Gaming Survey. And in this survey, the whole question was, why do people game? What is your purpose? What are you doing behind it? And it had a lot of interesting results, a lot of unique responses. I have thoughts and ideas. So maybe, you're the one who gave us this article, Fox. You want to go into a little more?
Let's intro this first a little bit. It's always good whenever you're looking at survey or polling data, especially because, obviously if you're in America, you're dealing with a big old political campaign right now. But whenever you're looking at polling and surveys and stuff, always look at the data source. How did they put this on? Who was asked? What is the source here? I do wish there was a little more detail. I'm looking at the executive summary, like it's a PowerPoint basically of the survey. They don't do a whole lot of give you a whole lot of details on how they've gleaned their information. They do tell you though from their methodology, survey of 5,000 entertainment and gaming globally. It feels like an incomplete sentence, but apparently at least 5,000 people were interviewed based on the kind of content. I'm assuming it's just kind of the every person.
Yeah.
Probably people who are involved in like on fandom websites. Fandom is responsible for a lot of like fan created wikis for a lot of various, The Witcher. I don't know what specifics, but so I'm gonna assume it's a lot of people that are involved in those and that responded to this survey here on Fandom. So this is an analysis of their proprietary first party data. So this is not farmed out or taken from something else. This is people who actually responded to a survey they created. But other than that, their goal, let's see, from character customization to cosplay and content creation, they basically just wanted to learn about the audiences, the respondents' purpose for playing video games. What was the goal? Why do they do it? And we'll look at a few of the responses and a few of the questions that they asked.
I will say,
here.
like, first and foremost, 5,000 sounds like a lot of people. When you take into account there's over 3 billion gamers around the world, it's actually a pretty small sample size.
Right,
but
right.
Hopefully they got a diverse amount of that 5,000. Like hopefully that 5,000 has. I would have liked to have seen what percentage was in the United States, what percentage was in non-English speaking countries, you know, things like that. So
personal information that was, you know, given as part of the survey would have been nice to see. But we're taking on with you know, grain of salt.
Yeah.
This is people who are involved here. At the end of, you know, 5,000 is not nothing. Though.
No.
As far as polling data goes,
yeah, absolutely.
It's not. It's definitely a good amount. So let's start here. The big first question that we're going to go through here: top reasons why people game. Essentially, they asked, "Hey, why do you play video games?" Just a general question. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different responses. I'm going to assume they were pre-written responses you could choose from. The number one was to unwind and stress relief. That was the big response. That was 54% of the respondents. The second biggest was creation, imagination, and self-expression. It's at 46%. And the third biggest for 40% would be achievement and rank. Obviously, you could have multiple answers to these questions. The numbers exceed honor percent by a lot. So yeah, those would be the top 3 answers: stress relief, self-expression, and achievement or rank.
Now, part of my thought process here is, so there was like 54% stress relief and 33%, 37% said to escape. I wonder what they're differentiating there. Another one said 40% is achievement and rank. 33% said challenge. I'm wondering what the differentiation is there. Just like, or competition is one of these. What's competition versus achievement and rank? I am curious about that. But if you could vote for more than one thing, then I guess, sure, that makes sense. But
sure.
Yeah. Overall, though, there was a 10% increase in creation, imagination, and self-expression, which I thought this was really interesting because when I hear creation, imagination, and self-expression in video games, I'm thinking like The Sims or Dreams or even like the old Little Big Planet games and whatnot, Minecraft, maybe, Roblox. Yep. And so I'm wondering what games are represented here most often. Do 46%, a 10% increase, play these types of games?
I'm wondering if this is what's fueling a lot of games having, you know, skins and things like that, where you get to make a choice about what your personal character looks like. Even if it doesn't have an impact on the game, I like this character or, you know, whatever. So I'm going to choose to look like this. Obviously, also Minecraft and Roblox and things like that, where you can literally craft what the, you know, it's a creation tool in and of itself. Things like that are still huge, so that's going to be a big part of it. But I wonder if that's why things like this are, or it seems it would tell us that that's why those things have become more and more popular. The ability to get a skin and change what your character looks like, even though there's no actual practical difference to it.
Yeah, I think that's actually a fair assessment there. I mean, I play games. Yep, the game that I remember now.
Oh, do you?
That I, you know, how
wow.
much I like games.
You identify as a gamer these days, I see.
What the heck is it called? It's not Little Big Planet. Sackboy: Big Adventure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been playing Sackboy a lot lately with my family, and it's a fun platformer. It's a really fun platformer. We get 4 players going. It's chaos. It's hilarious. We laugh. But really, what continues to motivate us to play this game are the costumes we can get. Like, you earn costumes as you're going through, and we love dressing up these little, you know, poppets every single time and putting on goofy outfits and whatnot. Like, that whole self-expression through these things. All of our guys are absolutely different, and every single time we are clearly looking for something. My son wants to look the coolest. He's got the robot suits, the swords.
Of course.
Legitimately, I want to look fun, but also all I care about is that I can tell which character is mine on the board. So I'll wear like the brightest, the tallest hats, the things like that.
There's a practical reason for that, but also that is trying to express which one you are. Right. Like that is part of that.
My wife wants to look cool. My daughter, my oldest wants to look edgy. My youngest wants to look cute. Like, and this is all the way that we're able to express ourselves. So you know what? Now that I think about it that way, that games have these types of things to them in various different ways. Yeah, I see that a lot more. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Which is why I'm guessing that the increase. So this says it's a 10% increase year over year.
Right.
Why that's happening, because more and more just games are having customizability as far as the aesthetic goes.
What I want to mention here, though, what I find really, really not interesting to me, it's obvious actually, but is the number one is unwind and stress relief.
Yes.
And for the amount of people that still have negative opinions of video games, consider a waste of time, whatever else, why would we try to gatekeep how people relax? If the way that you unwind from your day is to come home and juggle shoes, who cares? Like, why?
Have you been watching me?
Like, why would you then tell that person, come on, man, you got to find a better hobby. Why?
Grow up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? Let these people just unwind. This is not their goal in life. This is not their obsession or whatever else.
Right.
54% say, hey, man, this is just the way that I relax. This is the way that I chill.
Speculation, because we don't have, I wish there was more data here, but I wonder if that number has gone down with the rise of streaming and the ability to become famous and recognized for your gaming, where kids and older are gaming and doing this more to try to make it a job, to try to make it a profession. And the fact that there are literal college courses, college degree programs
right
for gaming. Like
well, and on that note, there's also like battle passes. What are they called? Dang it. Seasons. Like the whole seasons challenges and whatnot, where every month you can be this rank or this good or whatever else. And if you're doing that every single month, it becomes more of a competition rather than just playing to chill.
It's not just stress relief, because I got to grind to level 100
right
in order to do, I got to get infinite in Marvel Snap or something.
Right. Which it's called. I thankfully gave up on that long ago.
Yeah. I always stalled out at like 40, and I was like, I'm not willing to try to make it any better than this.
I'm consistently, and by consistently I mean almost literally always, either high 70s or low 80s. Mm-hmm. And if I've recognized that my decks are good enough that if I actually played for more than half an hour to 45 minutes a day, I could grind my way up to 100. I don't want to do that.
You're not willing to. Sure.
I don't care that much.
Because that would mean it's not a stress relief. It's not just like a fun thing you're doing anymore. You're working at it.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. Games that enable self expression. Okay, so let's look at this. So in-game personalizations allows players to become creators, fostering a sense of ownership and community. Vast open worlds that offer endless exploration and discovery, making every player's journey unique. Constant updates keep the game dynamic, and maintain player interest over time. So those three topics. 78% of fandom's top 50 games align with at least one of these criteria. They have content that enables self-expression.
So the games that are listed here are like Roblox, Minecraft, Genshin Impact, Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, Sims, Stardew Valley. So again, if you were to take a look at these and say, what do Grand Theft Auto and Stardew Valley have in common? The answer would be absolutely nothing. Like that's not like, what do Roblox and Genshin Impact have in common? Like very, very, very little. But really what they're talking about is these are places where people can almost like when I see self-expression in these in this context, I almost think like catharsis, where they want to be able, like, part of their emotions wants to be able to go out and cause absolute chaos and ride a tank down a street running over police cars. And that's your expression. That's your catharsis through Grand Theft Auto. Or on the other side, some people want to cathart through romancing the farmer next door. You know, and that's your Stardew Valley side of things, where people are able to express that part of them in a way that they cannot do in the real world. You can't do that in the real world.
You could become a farmer and romance the farmer next to them.
Please don't
Next
drive
to
a
you.
tank down. Please don't do it Tiananmen Square.
Well, yeah, that's a bad idea. But if you want to move out to your grandpa's farm and romance one of the locals, that's probably fine.
You can do that. Yeah, that's
You can
fine.
do that one.
Yeah. As long as there's a local cave that you can go in and kill slimes too. There's got to be.
Well, that's very important.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also down with Joja Mart. Joja Corp. So what this is saying, though, I mean, that's absolutely true. That catharsis is always going to be important.
Yeah.
But this is saying that these games, a lot of games are like when we talk about Grand Theft Auto, you and I don't really play a lot of MMOs.
No.
Or a lot of online stuff. Grand Theft Auto Online is why Grand Theft Auto is one of the most profitable games in history.
Yeah.
Because people like to play it, as well as it allows them to express themselves with whatever cars you buy, with whatever you look like, with however, you know, there are role play servers that allow you to be an actual character in there to express yourself. Same with Stardew Valley. Now, that's not online, but you can play multiplayer and have multiple people on the same farm, and you can, you know, create your own little, like, what your farm looks like and work together to express yourself. They added a bunch of new hats in the 1.6 update, which is pointless if you're just playing by yourself and nobody's ever going to see it.
Unless they're wizard caps.
That's true.
Then they have
would be
good
pointed.
points. Then they have very...
Yes, if you're the yes, good point. Yeah, but if you're playing with others, then you are getting to express yourself. Sims are obvious. Genshin Impact, you get to create your team. You know, you get to roll for various characters and create your team and things like that. Minecraft is obvious. Roblox is obvious. That the games continually update, add new content, allow you to change and evolve. Like, just this is further expressing or further hammering home the point that some of the most popular games in gaming, the entire gaming world, have these elements of not just playing through something and experiencing a story and seeing what happens and getting to make choices even, but actually getting to insert yourself into the game to a certain extent. You know, Last of Us 2 might be praised, you know, critically and might be a wonderfully crafted game, but you don't actually get to express who you are in that game.
Right.
And that is going to be a downside for a lot of people who are looking for something different than what that game has to offer.
Yeah.
So, this seems to be the major finding of this survey is games where you get to express who you are going to be huge for a very large portion of the gaming community.
Well, and then according to their statistics, games that have these sorts of things have a 60% higher engagement compared to the gaming norms. So compared to the amount of engagement and like fandom of the average game,
Yes.
these are 60% higher. That's a huge jump, right? Like that's an incredible margin jump. And for games like Minecraft and Roblox, I definitely understand that because those are types of games that a lot of people can play on the side. You know, like one that they're playing whatever game, but then they'll jump into the Minecraft server and do some stuff for funsies or whatever else. But
Sometimes.
a lot of these games, it's like Stardew Valley compared to, I don't know, like Call of Duty or something like that. I guess I wouldn't have expected that to have a 60% higher engagement. Just crazy.
Now, maybe we should point out here, it's occurring to me that this might be part of the bias inherent to this survey, is that it's going to be people who engage with fandom, the actual like website and any of its like actual wikis that they create on there, inherently meaning that the people who are engaging with it are going to be spending a lot of time on a site designed to be community crafted content.
Interesting. That's a very good point. Yeah.
So the site itself is designed for this. I have been on plenty of fandom, you know, wikis and stuff to gain some information real quick while I'm playing a game, or if I'm just curious about something. I have never once been interested in actually contributing to them. That's not to say it's a bad thing. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. So, which means that I don't spend a whole lot of time on them. Meaning I'm just not going to see that this survey exists, or even if I do, probably not really going to be not really care as much that my voice gets heard on it, whereas people who are actually crafting these wikis are going to be a part of this. So it's kind of a little bit of a bias here. Maybe we could consider it a downside to the actual survey, is that it makes sense that this is going to be the information we're receiving from it based on who's going to self-select as part of this survey. Doesn't mean it's not good, interesting data, though.
Yeah, no, but whatever type of data it is, it's still data. Like, these are facts, and they're
absolutely, yeah. It's just it tells us something. So let's see, 69% nice claim self-expression through gameplay is a more active decision now than ever before. The top 5 in-game customizations players use for self-expression. The top one, 76% character personalization. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You have games like Baldur's Gate, which let you just control
go nuts.
To the nth degree what you will look like. I mean, there's other games like Cyberpunk. I find it interesting. Cyberpunk 2077 lets you create a super detailed character that you never will see in the game. Like, you never see it's a first-person game. You see yourself if you choose to look in a mirror or in some specific cases, but generally you are not going to ever see what you look like. There's not much point to crafting a specific character, whereas with Baldur's Gate 3, you are constantly looking at your character and interacting with others. And so, things like it makes sense. Gamer tags and usernames are a way that people express who they are. Gamer communication. So self-expression through interacting with others through chat and whatnot. Signatures and emblems, and then emotions and gestures are the top 5 ways that people express themselves through the actual games in the games.
Now, of the 69% say that expression through gameplay is more active now than it's ever been before. That's kind of obvious, right? As gaming progresses and technology progresses, they're going to.
That's just where it goes.
But what I thought was interesting of all of these was the 48%. How important it was for half of them just to have a gamer tag or username, just to be able to like customize your own name.
To have one that you get to, your name is important.
Right. And it just, when I, like, again, that's one of those things that I've never really thought about and considered, but when I can put my common username in there, I'm pretty happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, I like my username. It's over. I got this thing on a ton of different platforms. It's cool when I get to use it, So
right. No, I mean, when I got a new Xbox, got a Series S a year or two ago, and basically decided I'm going to create a new Xbox account rather than try to figure out what my old one was. I didn't just create a random new username. I just used my normal username, my usual gamer tag with a 1 at the end. Like, I decided I still want to be identified the same way. Just the practicalities of it mean I have to add a 1. That 1 is meaningless. It just allowed me to still be. So it's just like, even if you don't think about these things as self-expression, they are. I didn't do that to like consciously thinking I'm going to show everybody who I am. I thought about it in a very practical way, but it still was, I want to be identified by this name like I am in other ways. So yeah, it's just a thing. Like, even when we don't think about it, we are using self-expression through these games.
So here's the one that I really want to talk about because it's interesting and
and relevant to what Save Point does.
Absolutely. The title here says there is a big gap between who people are when gaming versus IRL. 80% claim that their gamer personality is different than their IRL, which is in real life, different than their in real life personality. 64% think it's easier to be themselves online than in person. This means that the majority of people feel like they are themselves in a virtual place more than they feel like themselves in a real world. That actually makes me kind of sad. Like, what is being said here is, as long as I don't have to be recognized. As long as I don't have to be like physically seen, then
as
I can
long as
really
I'm
be myself.
anonymous, technically.
Yes, then I can really be myself. And especially when we take a look at the internet as a whole, there are a lot of people who really suck on the internet, right? And we know this,
Sure.
and that's just the reality of the matter is, and if we got to assume that some of those people are within the 64% saying that, like, that's who I really am. That person that's, you know, a troll or that is cruel or that is inflammatory, bigoted online.
Or is LGBTQIA. Like, I can express myself in here more easily than I can around my family.
Right. And it's just, it really, really sucks. And it's sad. And what again, we talk about like the whole purpose of Save Point and what we do. What does a community look like? A safe place for gamers to be able to go and be able to say, I feel safe here now. This is who I am. I feel safe here. And I also, part of me wonders, like, when people say this is who I am, does that mean this is what my lizard brain indulgent urges are that I'm able to satisfy online? But when I'm in real life, then of course I have to not, you know, just give into those things.
The PC culture is making me not, you know, I have to hide who I am.
Where when at the, like, what that really being said there is, I am the emotions that I have, not the choices that I make. And that is an unhealthy thing.
Interesting.
You know, and like I really, it is part of who we are to deny that sometimes, to say, I'm not going to engage in this thing that's my, you know, again, to use biblical words, my flesh wants, to use real words. Well, biblical words are real words.
Flesh is not a real word.
To
you
use
heard it
secular
here first.
words, use secular wording, just what my indulgent cravings are, my base, you know, indulgent cravings are.
Yeah, gut reactions.
Yeah, I will choose not to engage in those because I know it's not wise, it's not healthy. That can and should be part of who we are. Saying, no, I get to indulge in those and the internet lets me indulge in those. That doesn't have to be who we are. Like we're not hiding that when we choose not to do it. Choosing not to do it is part of who we are. And part of me wonders if that's what part of that large percentage is people just saying, I get to indulge in my base emotions online and I don't get to do that in the real world. And man, that's
the hard part I have about this in a similar vein is the disconnect that I see in I'm expressing who I am by wearing this skin in a game or having this gamer tag. Hey, even when I played Minecraft on my own, I made myself look like Wolverine because I thought it was super cool. And it is. It's inherently objectively cool. So I'm right there.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like I'm not against you wearing whatever skin. Financially might not be the best choice to buy them. Whatever. I'm not against that. But when you don't have this game anymore, when this game, because purchase doesn't equal ownership, according to Ubisoft, when the game falls away, the servers disappear. Does that mean you are not able to express who you are? Like, how do you express? Like, it feels like a filling a void. I don't know who I am necessarily, so I'm going to express myself and decide I'm this person. This is the skin I wear. This is the name I have. This is, fill in the thing here. Again, I'm not trying to denigrate this action. I think it is inherently natural to all people to want to express who they are, and sometimes we do that in a digital fashion. I really think there is a need for, okay, cool, you play that game, you have a certain name, you have a certain reputation, you have a certain role, even you have a role that you play, whatever. We do this in D&D sometimes too. I want to role play in this certain way, and I think that's really fun. But when we move that into the real life world, into the meat space, how do you need to be able to express who you are, and I fully understand that sometimes people are not going to accept you for that. That sucks. But I maybe now I'm thinking about it, it just comes down to self-worth. That if you don't have that, it's okay.
Exactly.
That you're going to be okay, and that you still have value, regardless of fill in the blank self-expression item or thing that you use online. You know, if I couldn't use my standard gamer tag, I just find another one. It's gonna be okay. You know, that kind of thing.
I mean, to swap out my podcaster hat with my pastor hat here for a second.
Sure.
You know, if you aren't familiar with Nerdy Gritty or Save Point or whatever else, we are an explicitly Christian organization. We want you to know how important you are to Christ, and that's a huge part of this. We know that Christ finds everybody inherently valuable, and some people don't feel that about themselves, and therefore it's easy to change themselves into who they want to be in a video game or in whatever else, when a lot of times just learning to love yourself the way that Christ loves you is so important. And then sometimes learning to love yourself is, you know, some people say, I don't want to be known like that because I really like X thing that I love, when that X thing is bad for you. It is bad for you. It is not healthy. It is an unhealthy thing. And therefore being encouraged to not engage with that creates a better you. And being able to like be who you truly are in Christ, like who you were truly made to be by God, is something that's so valuable and so important and so good. And I think that people look to video games so they can create who they want to be, rather than learning to love themselves for who they are. And that's why this statistic makes me sad. It really does.
I think this is very emblematic of the culture war landscape that video games have become for a lot of people, where the way a character is depicted, especially, you know, if they are a woman, they have to be a certain a level of attractiveness, right, or a certain type of attractiveness, or therefore gaming as an identity is being infiltrated by certain people that I don't like or I find to be, you know, like this all comes down to, it doesn't all come down to it. I'm you know, armchair psychologizing here, psychiatristing here, but a lot of it I feel can come down to, what's your identity here? It's fun to talk about video games and talk about the cultural impact they have and talk about like trends in video games and recognize them. It's also okay if they don't necessarily reflect what you want them to, because they should not make up your self-worth. Your value should not come from the things you enjoy doing. Your value should come from the fact that you are a, you know, beloved creation of God. Obviously, talking from a Christian standpoint, this is our perspective here. Your self-value, your worth is not connected to the way you express yourself, even in real life.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to be a gamer. That's the point of Save Point, is we're not here to say you need to stop doing that and be accepted. We're saying, nah, it's cool. We love that. And also, aside from that, we love you and want to be around you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole book, and I'm sure it's from a song or something that Mr. Rogers had, but I've read it with my son many times it's at his music class, but it's just a song about, it's you I like. I mean, I'm literally referencing Mr. Rogers here, but it's such a basic level thing of, it's not the clothes you wear, it's not how you act, it's not if you are good, quote unquote, good behaved, you know, things like that. It's you.
Yep.
Whatever else comes along with it might be a bonus. Hey, I also play Magic. That's cool. Let's be better friends now. That is not relevant to what I think of you. And this is a lesson that a lot of the video game culture needs to recognize. Both the people who are marginalized. I don't want to, devalue your trauma, everything that comes along with that. And also, more importantly, the people who are doing the marginalization of saying, what you are saying is, my identity is based on whether or not I get to gatekeep a certain thing. You know, your self-expression is less important than my self-expression, and I'm going to use whatever means possible. This has led to a lot more than I thought, but I mean, really, it's what it is. It is self-expression and how we interact with the things that we love.
Yeah. Well, and something that I've talked about before when I do guest speaking gigs is in ancient Greek, there are two words for fellowship, two different words, at least used in the Bible. One is metoke, and metoke is, it means fellowship with a shared goal. So, the common explanation I have is if you are a fan of a sports team and you go to a sports game and you sit next to somebody who is also a fan of that sports team, you're going to start up a conversation. You're going to, have a good time. Or if you were randomly paired with somebody in Fortnite and you both love the game, you're going to connect immediately. You're going to be able to have things to talk about. You will have a shared goal and a shared outcome, and you will bond over that shared goal and shared outcome. But once the last pitch is thrown, the timer runs out, whoever gets the chicken dinner, whatever happens there, then you have separated and then you go your different ways. The other one is koinonia. And koinonia is a community fellowship, one that is being involved in each other's lives and fellowship with each other through like deep, deep love and care for one another. I think what happens here is games inherently, and again, save point, we love this, that games inherently build metoke. They bring that, they build it beautifully and wonderfully, and you have this shared goal and you have this fellowship, and it bridges that gap of getting to know each other so quickly. But at the end of the day, that's all that games can do. They can build metoke really, really well, where koinonia has to be built through sharing life together. And when you try to create a metoke situation, when you try to create a koinonia situation within a metoke platform, then that platform becomes your life. That platform becomes who you are. You begin identifying by that platform. And man, it makes me sad.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
so
we got to move on.
No. This is really at the end of the day what we want to talk about, and we only have a little bit left here. There is a large opportunity. Yeah, let's just get a couple of these things here. Players would like their IRL presence to be more like their gaming presence. For 46%, 72% would think more favorably of brands that help them to do that, especially multicultural, especially Black and Hispanic, women and non-binary, and 18 to 34-year-olds. I mean, this one is interesting to me. Then do it. Like, I'm not sure why we need to rely on a brand.
This one is scary to me.
Yeah, this one's strange to why we rely on a brand to make our IR in real life presence to be more like their gaming presence.
What this says is we are literally turning to brands and saying, I will give you money to make me more like my video game person.
Right.
When we just spent 20 minutes saying why it's unhealthy to want to be that video game person more than to be yourself. And now we're turning to this is cyberpunk all day to me, right? Like this is, this is us turning to corporations so we can become virtual in real life. It's ugh.
This is where this is where the survey has turned to like a little bit of like, oh, you kind of missed the point here. In my like, you didn't go in the realm of, oh, why is this a problem? You went to, okay, how can we lean into the problem?
How can we empower corporations to do this?
Yeah, and then it continues. How can a brand help players express themselves by cosplaying their avatars IRL? 32% would like their physical appearance to be more like their gaming, physical appearance to be more like their gaming presence. Okay, like it's just then okay. At the end of the day, we kind of have, you and I seem to have a fundamental like, hold on, hold on. We crossed the Rubicon here. We had an important discovery, and instead of like looking deeply or like looking critically, we said, oh, okay, well then here's some makeup to help you, Fortnite fans. There's literally an ad here for Revolution. It's a makeup company, and Fortnite working together,
right?
And Animal Crossing with ColourPop, and you're like, this, okay, like I'm not against marketing and merch. It's not inherently a bad thing, But to say this will make you, you're still going to have that empty void, you know, that void of now that I look like my character, I still am these ways though. It's the funny SNL joke. I think I shared it with you. The Adam Sandler sketch about, well, our Italian tours. We want to warn you though that if you don't like yourself, you still will not like yourself while you're in Italy. Our beautiful beaches will not help you feel more comfortable in a swimsuit. Things like that. Like, this feels like let's dress things up a little more while the inside still rots. While there's still trauma and problems to be addressed. Great, you have makeup that has a color pigment, a color palette like Animal Crossing. That's not helping anything here. That's just marketing and helping a company make more money off of the deep-seated issue of identity that we're facing.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that number, 72% would think favorably of brands that help them to do this, is terrifying to me.
Yeah. This is a real issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got a lot. In summary, there's 3 summary points here. Number 1, self-expression through gaming is a large motivational driver for players, fueling growth in gaming engagement. Awesome. I love that. Let people express themselves in games. I think that's good. I think we talked about catharsis earlier. I think that's healthy and great. 2, gaming communities act as a safe space for players to be their true selves, leaving many players yearning for their IRL presence to better match their gaming online. That's to me.
Sure. Like right there, we're saying, okay, it feels like it should be, here's the issue. Now, how do we solve it?
Right, right. Like, I'm glad that gaming is a safe place. That thrills me. I wish we had more safe places, and that's part of what Safe One is trying to do. We want churches to be that safe place. We feel that churches should be that safe place. Churches need to change if they're not.
Are failing by not being.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And then finally, marketing towards the motivation of self-expression will result in positive brand perception, creating a meaningful opportunity for advertisers with gaming alignment.
Oh, that makes me feel bad. Like, it feels like it's not even like, oh, that feels weird. It's like, what was the point of this survey for marketers?
Yes,
like, what
exactly.
Like, this feels weird. Like, what was the point of doing this? Like, we're just trying to see how, makeup, whatever makeup brand can make more money. Like, wait, why did we do this?
It legitimately feels like exactly that this is the kit that fandom is now sending out to marketers that that's Revolution and ColourPop paid fandom.com to do this so that they could figure this information out and then send them back the data. Like, it's gross to me. It really is.
Yeah, it gives me a little bit of a ick.
So, I mean, in conclusion, here's what I'll say. I love video games. I love that gaming is a safe place. I love that gaming is something that connects us, that builds that Matoke we were talking about earlier. Every Monday night we get together with a friend of ours that lives in Idaho, and we game with him. And it's a time for us to connect. When we used to live here, we hung out all the time. Now he lives there, and that's the time that we get to connect and be together.
Sure.
We get to do ridiculous, goofy things.
We mine space rocks.
We mine space rocks.
We're space dwarves.
Rock and stone. And
rock and stone forever.
We have a great time, and it's really, really fun. That can't be who we are, though. That can be part of who we are, and that can be an expression of who we are. But who we are in the real world is who we are, full stop.
Yes.
Who we are in the real world is who we are. You cannot be yourself. You cannot be more yourself in a virtual world because it's virtual. It's not real. And that confusion is, I think, what causes a lot of mental health issues and a lot of identity struggles and all this type of stuff like that. You literally cannot be more yourself in a video game because it is literally not you. And then turning around and saying businesses help us do this more is the worst.
It's such a weird direction to go.
It feels grossly cyberpunk. It really does.
Oof.
Some real cool info at the beginning in here, and it cliffed, down sloped real hard towards the end
Takes
here.
a hard turn into Weirdville.
Yeah. I don't know. Your final thoughts, Fox?
If you are struggling with these kinds of things, hey, cosplay is not a problem. Cosplay is amazing. Impressive.
I love cosplay.
We have literally spent hours and hours interviewing cosplayers at PAX.
Yeah.
You can watch those videos on our old YouTube channel. We love cosplay. It's cool looking and an impressive skill. It does not improve who you are as a person. It does not change who you are as a person. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Things like that. The makeup you wear, even if it makes you look like a character in a game, is not going to change or improve who you are. And if you're dealing with these problems, I do recommend finding somewhere to express that, finding therapy or something like that. Because honestly, sometimes it's not going to be easy to express that. The problem is you want to be the person you are online because the person you are online is allowed to say whatever, things they're struggling with without the backlash with that anonymity gives,
Right.
that allows. And so find a non-judgmental place to go and just express these issues. Therapy, a pastor, hopefully, if they're doing their job correctly, some place. That is what I would say. Don't try to find a makeup company.
Yes.
To fill that void.
And hey, if you're looking for a safe place, a step in this is, I recommend the Save Point Discord. We have a place for you to come and be able to express yourself. We'd love to talk to you, hang out with you. It's in the chat if you're here during the stream or whatnot. It is a step. This will not be the place. Because it's still digital. It's still a digital place.
Right.
But
it's supposed to be a bridge.
Right. On the Save Point Discord, there's also on the server, there's also a channel called Find a Church, and you can put in your city and state, and it's our goal to find a gamer-friendly church, a nerd-friendly church for you, where you can be yourself and be validated as who you are, while also loved with the love of Christ and shown who he is. So that can be a step. Also, what Fox said, though, get professional help as well. Like, it's just, Anyway, okay. All right. Hey, Fox, what have you been up to, my friend?
Hey, I don't binge television shows. My wife and I, even if a show drops all at once, we will intentionally just watch an episode a week to give some anticipation, as well as we just don't like sitting and watching for something for too long.
Yeah.
It really takes a real, busy week, or just we're on vacation or something, to watch more than one episode.
But
thank you. But we got a Paramount free 6-month Paramount Plus subscription.
Yeah.
And I crushed New Frasier in 2 days.
2 days? Holy crap!
Well, okay, let me be clear. It's 10 episodes. They're half an hour long each.
Oh, okay.
It's still 5 hours of television in 2 days, which is a whole lot more than I typically do. Now, also, to be honest, usually I'm spending more time on YouTube. It's not like I'm out there getting a whole lot of exercise. I'm watching other videos on other platforms.
Yeah.
But this is way more than I typically put toward watching a television show. It was surprisingly good. I really love Frasier. I've watched all of Frasier multiple times. I know that's a joke. I know it's a funny white person sitcom that's real down the middle, nothing humor. But I do love me some Frasier, and the new season was surprisingly good. It had a little bit of that new sitcom reboot. I don't know. I feel like that a lot of sitcom reboots have kind of a weird feel to them a lot of times, a new vibe to them that kind of is shared. The biggest example is that 90s show where there's just a weird, I don't know.
Because they're 30 years out of date?
Right, well, sure, and it also, it just doesn't have that, you can't recreate the original feeling.
Right.
It's just been 30 years, so it's not really something you can do. But anyway, it only had a little bit of that, and I think the biggest thing is the only returning character, actual regular character, is Frasier himself. Everybody else is new. I mean, that his son is in it, who showed up for a few episodes in Frasier, the old show, but he's 30 years older now, so it's really a new character. And then there's a cameo in one episode. Oh, yeah, one episode has his ex-wife, but it basically just, she did that a lot in the old episode. She wasn't a regular character, she just showed up. And then one episode has a short scene with a character with Roz. So Anyway, that's all to say is it kind of felt like an actual like continuation of Frasier. Like instead of just new, like let's do Frasier again because it's a new city, new people.
It's
But it
not
still
in
had
Seattle?
Nope.
How is
He's
it
back-
still Frasier then?
He's back in Boston.
Does he
sticking
go
off
to
to
Cheers?
Boston. That was no, he does not. That was the restraint. That was the restraint I liked. It didn't have a million new characters returning. It didn't even have like Daphne or Niles. It didn't have Cheers, which was shocking.
If he's gonna be in Boston,
He has a bar he goes to again. It's called it's named after the it's called Mahoney's.
Salud, salutations.
It's called Mahoney's. It's named after the guy who played his dad in in Frasier, John Mahoney, who died. But anyway, that's what I liked. It had a restraint when it came to returning characters and all that jazz, and but it also was just classic Frasier humor. Just I'm a pompous rich guy who's gonna be humbled by my stupidity, and yeah, just some classic hijinks. Anyway.
I hate
you like Frasier, watch New Frasier.
I never saw a single episode of Frasier or New Frasier, and I hate them both now.
Anyway, now let's talk to people who aren't 60 years old.
Right, exactly, yeah. I, on the note of, I wouldn't call it binging, we're watching like 2 or 3 episodes a night of half-hour episodes. My wife and I it came out on Netflix, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give this show a shot. I've heard good things. We started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
And it is delightful. It is super duper fun. It's got big Psych vibes to me of these people who are genuinely good at their jobs, but they're also giant doofuses at the same time. They are fiercely loyal to one another, but also absolute children to one another. Like, again, it's big Psych vibes, and I love it for that thing. Like, there's so much of it that is just so enjoyable. If you don't know it, it's the 99th precinct of the New York Police Department.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. And it is the detectives. And it's their quirky lives of being detectives, but also being ridiculous in so many different ways.
It's a Mike Schur sitcom.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's super fun. And I'm really enjoying it. And my wife and I, again, it's classic sitcom. Everybody's very archetypal and, you know, ridiculous in whatever different ways. But it's a really easy watch. It's a feel-good type show to me where you just laugh at it, and I'm loving it. We're about halfway through season 2 right now, so
Sure.
yeah, it's good show. Good show.
I went and saw Furiosa.
Yeah.
I was one of the 4 people who did.
I heard that Garfield did better than Furiosa.
I think very similar numbers. No, it flopped horrifically financially. Critically, both if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, critics and fans. Non-paid critics.
Yeah.
About equal as far as the response goes. Like, it's a great movie, just didn't make a lot of money, which I don't care about, so
right.
That's fine. It's weird to me that we've put so much importance into how much money a movie makes when it comes out.
Well, it's just, is that movie going to get more of it? Like, is it going to be...
Sure.
Yeah,
who knows? Anyway, it was really good. It was really good.
All right.
When I was talking about it, or watching it and talking about it with my brother, I had some issues with it that I've come to realize are just like I had an expectation of what the story would be, and it didn't align with that. And so it's not that it's bad. It was just like, oh, I thought this would have been better, but it didn't do that. That's not the same as it being bad. So I'll just talk about some great things in it. I mean, obviously, Furiosa herself is really great. Anya Taylor-Joy is really great. I would say the standout character, though, is Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth. He is wonderful as this. Like, he's right in line with a lot of with Mad Max villains, where they are crazy, ridiculous, but also like interesting in a way. All going all the way back to the original Mad Max. But he plays Dementus. He wants to be like warlord, the king of the bikers. He has like this massive horde of bikers that go around basically randomly terrorizing and trying to add to their thing to their numbers. He goes throughout. There's this really fun recurring joke where just based on whatever happens, he decides he's now. He starts as Dementus the Great. No, whatever. He's like Dementus, and then he's Red Dementus, and then he's Dark Dementus. He
just keeps
and then
like changing his.
Like he keeps changing his title, and it's very
that.
fun. Like it's just a really great. Like he's very chaotic. He also is a really interesting character in that he's very like intimidating at first, but then you start to learn, like you see beyond like his facade, and it kind of mirrors the fact that as you're watching the movie, you're following Furiosa. She grows up. It's like 15 years of time that passes. And so you like it starts off as, yeah, this guy would be terrifying to a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
He's like this big intimidating guy, and then she gets older and she's around him a lot, and she starts to see he's not so good at being a leader. Like his value comes in his like as a leader, and his ability to control people comes from his like willingness to just be chaos and to really gamble on like a tactic or strategy, and it pays off for him sometimes. But so it's like, oh, I've started to be less intimidated by him, and he starts to be a little more goofy than actually intimidating. So it's really interesting, like progression there. But it was a great movie. It aligned a little too cleanly, I think, with Fury Road. I do wish it could have left a little more mystery up to like what happens, but again, that's not a bad thing about the movie. It's just like this was an interesting choice I thought they made.
What you wanted versus what happened.
It ultimately it was really good. It was not nothing will ever be Fury Road though. Fury Road is a masterpiece.
It's so
action.
Good.
Furiosa had a lot more like cracks to it and a little more like jank to it.
Yeah,
but not something that made it terrible.
Because the second one just released, I have restarted Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, I've been looking at playing the first one.
Holy crap, that game is good.
Still good, huh?
It's so good. This is my third time going through it, and it's just as powerful, man. It like, if you don't know, the whole premise of it is there's a young woman, probably late teens, early 20s, who has a lot of mental illnesses, but this is like ancient times, Gaelic, BC Gaelic times. And so they were seen as, demons and spirits or whatever messing with her, the darkness. And so she's sort of cast out of her village, but she has a like secret boyfriend there, and she is cast out of the village, and she comes back one day, and the whole village has been raided and murdered by Vikings. By the Northmen, they call them, but by Vikings.
Sure.
And she finds her boyfriend having suffered from what's called the Blood Eagle, which was a real form of torture. I will not go into that any further. You can look it up if you want. Yes.
You can watch Midsummer. They do a Blood Eagle in that one. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, so she goes on an adventure with her boyfriend's head to go into, because since he was killed by Vikings, obviously he's in their god's underworld. So she wants to venture into hell, HEL, to bring back her boyfriend's soul. And she has to go through different gods' realms, Surt's realm and Valravan's realm. And the whole time you're asking yourself, because again, she struggles with voice hearing and schizophrenia and like all these different mental illnesses, you're asking yourself, is any of this real? Yeah. What is real? What is not real? What's happening? It transitions between what feels like a very real world that she's just traveling through the land, and then very fantastic magical realms. And it just sort of transitions between these so naturally that you're like, wait, what just happened? Was that, hold on, wait. And oh my gosh, it's good. And all the while, because it keeps playing with reality in this way, and you are continually asking yourself, was this real? It really lends credit to the reality of mental illness of even when you're told, hey man, none of that is real. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean I'm not, I'm not experiencing it. It doesn't mean that I'm not struggling with it. It doesn't mean that it's not real to me. And because of this, it received so many accolades, so many like awards and whatever for Games for Good, because people were saying things like, my family never understood my mental illness, and then I had them play this game. and they're finally starting to get it, and different things like that where I have never felt seen before until this game, and just it's incredible for that. It's wonderful. The first one is so good. I'm nervous about the second.
Sure.
And how it's
how do you follow up a masterpiece?
Right. So we'll see what Senua Saga has, but this game, I mean, on top of all this, the gameplay is great. It's got such smooth, solid combat. When I played it the first couple of times, it was really kind of glitchy, still being fixed out. That was years ago when it first came out, so obviously a lot of that's been patched. It's real smooth now. It's just a great game. It really is a great game.
I played through Superliminal. You talked about it not too long ago.
Yeah.
I've actually played through it like 3 or 4 times now.
It's so good.
Trying to get that platinum, and there's the one trophy I got to get now, or one of the last ones is beat it in less than 35 minutes.
Oof.
The record is 39 minutes.
Ooh.
So I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really fun. It's just a little like 3 or 4 hour kind of physics puzzle. It talks about, it works on your perspective. So it takes place within dreams, and it's basically, the idea is perception is reality. So an object you pick up will change shape depending on its relation toward the background, essentially. So if you hold it up and it looks like it would be bigger and you let go, it is now bigger. Things like that. And so it's a fun little, it really benefits from being as short as it is, because it's got some fun concepts and some fun stuff, and the humor is funny, but it also doesn't feel like it should be stretched out, and it really benefits from its brevity, so it's fun to play through. I recommend it if you have PlayStation Plus, like the catalog. Play through it real quick, give it a go. It's not particularly difficult.
No,
I think I needed help with like 2 different points, and when I did, I was like, oh, obviously, like I felt stupid okay, I should have just kept trying a little bit longer. I would have gotten there, but overall, it's really fun.
It's got fun secrets. It gives you, rewards you for exploring a ton. It's big, Portal meets Stanley Parable vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Way fun. It's a great game. The last thing I want to bring up today is I was just introduced to Lydia the Bard. Lydia the Bard is a YouTuber and a musician, and what she does, or at least what she's most known for, is creating villain songs for Disney princesses or for Disney heroes.
Oh, I see.
And they're not only are they real good songs, but for some of them, I like the story more than I like the real story. So, for example, there's one where it's Mirabel from Encanto, and the whole song is her just basically saying, "I'm done with all of you guys judging me for stuff. I'm done with all of you guys blaming me for stuff. I'm done with being overlooked. I'm done with all this stuff, and now I want to cause the disaster to happen. I want this all to fall apart." And that makes more sense to me than the actual what actually happened in the movie. Man. Yes, that's a more logical progression. There's another one that's Belle, and her whole thing is, I'm tired of being pursued. I just want to be me. I'm not a beauty. I'm a genius. Leave me alone. In fact, I'm going to fight my way out of here. And for all of them, they're ready to kill, all these princesses are ready to kill. and there's Anna, and Anna's whole thing is, Elsa, you were trash to me for our entire childhood. You were the source of my mental struggles. And now I hate you. And now we're done. I'm done living in your shadow and in trying to pursue you and getting nothing back. And there's so many cool things. They're all versions of other songs. They're all versions of the original songs in the movies, but rewritten and redone in the style of a villain song. And they're great. So Lydia the Bard is the name. You can check her out on YouTube. Lydia the Bard on YouTube. Very good stuff.
Okay. That's all I've got.
That's all I've got. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. We really appreciate that you were here. We want to say a really big thank you to Granger for the use of our theme song. All my friends have Wi-Fi, and so do most of my neighbors. Off the album Dear Sam. I'm kind of spacing on some things here because they just dropped a new song on YouTube. Let's see. It is here. It is. It is Mr. Milo's Magic Mirror, and it's parentheses Milo's version, which I love because it's like Taylor's
I've
version.
missed this somehow.
But Mr.
Yeah.
Milo's Magic Mirror has just dropped, and it's very good. I mean, all their music is very good. This one is also very good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hey, just want to just another shout out. I mean, obviously we talked about Save Point a whole lot today.
Yeah.
But hey, this is part of Save Point. The Nerdy Gritty is a part of Save Point.
There you
It's
go.
an extension of our mission of bringing people together from a purely internet-based community to an in real life community. Being a part of a community that actually meets in person and gets to be gets to know each other actually in person to see who we are. We think the church is a great place to do this. We have both been part of the church for most of our lives, and we have found this is a community that allows us to be who we are and also be in person and not need to escape to the anonymity of the internet. And so if that is something that you find attractive, that you would look for, then I heavily encourage you to jump on the Discord, the Save Point Discord. Go to the Save Point website, SavePointMinistries.com. Send us a comment here on our stream anyway, and we can absolutely help you in getting connected to a real life church where there will be people who want to get to know you for who you are, and also hopefully be interested in the same things you're interested in, because those things are also really cool.
Yeah.
You should not have to hide them.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for being here, and yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks again.
That's how I'm ending it.
Thanks again for being here, everybody, and always remember that saved games save lives.
My voice sings all night, and this is what my heart sounds like. Is what my heart sounds like. Is what my heart sounds.
All right, we're back for our post show. Scrolling through, G Creature said hi. Hey, G Creature, glad to see you.
Hello, G.
Haven't seen you in a while, but he's coming in just to drop say hi. He's had a lot of work, so glad you could join us though. So yeah, I will just say one more time, y'all. We proselytized a lot today, but we really truly mean what we said. That you are deeply valuable. You are an important person that has incredible inherent value outside of an online moniker, video game, whatever it is. Hey, if you want to know more about that value that you have, come check out SavePointMinistries.com. Join our Discord. It's all in the chat right here.
Just said that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. We love you guys. We love that each and every one of you were here today, but always remember there's a church out there that would love it if you were there. We'll see you guys next time. As soon as I can find the there it is. Okay,
Very
I found
professional.
it. Bye.
Bye.